Micah Parsons didn't just file paperwork, he launched a war. Not a sideline spat, not a quiet holdout, not the kind of tug-of-war that usually plays out in hushed negotiations behind closed doors. No, this is Micah Parsons taking Jerry Jones and the entire Dallas Cowboys organization into the ring, gloves off, teeth bared, and saying, "Pay me what I'm worth, or face me in court." And the price tag on this fight? $200 million. Yes, you read that right. The Cowboys' brightest star, their defensive monster, the face of their franchise since the moment he stepped onto the field, is suing Jerry Jones in a contract dispute that cuts to the very bones of the NFL.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
How players are valued, how positions are defined, and who really holds the power when a generational talent decides he won't play by the old rules. Let's set the scene. Micah Parsons, from the moment he arrived in Dallas, has been nothing short of a phenomenon. He's not just a linebacker. He's not just a defensive end. He's both, he's neither. He's a hybrid freak of nature who wrecks game plans and haunts quarterbacks' dreams. He's collected sacks like trading cards, piled up accolades like they were participation trophies. Defensive Rookie of the Year, multiple All-Pro nods, Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl. He's already in conversations usually reserved for legends, and he hasn't even hit his prime. And yet, for all his dominance, for all his versatility, for all the ways he bends football itself around his will, the Cowboys tried to pin him down with one word: defensive end. See, that's where the battle begins. In the strange, often archaic world of NFL contracts, what you're called matters just as much as what you do. A linebacker and a defensive end don't make the same money, not when the fifth-year option is calculated. And here's the kicker: linebackers, thanks to salary cap math, get paid more. If Parsons is officially labeled a linebacker, his guaranteed fifth-year salary jumps to $24 million. But if he's stuck as a defensive end, it sits at $21.3 million. That's a $2.7 million swing, and that's just for 1 year. Stretch it out across a long-term extension, and you're suddenly staring down tens of millions of dollars. For Jerry Jones, that's the cost of doing business. For Micah Parsons, that's the cost of his identity. And so, the gloves came off. Parsons didn't just grumble to the media. He didn't just pout in a press conference. He filed a grievance, a formal, legal challenge against the team. In NFL terms, it's the equivalent of dropping a lawsuit, forcing the Cowboys into arbitration where every snap he's played will be dissected like courtroom evidence. Was he standing up on this play? Then he's a linebacker. Hand in the dirt on this snap? Defensive end. Coverage drops, blitz angles, alignments, all of it becomes part of the case. This isn't just a contract negotiation anymore. This is a trial. And if Parsons wins, the shockwaves will ripple across the league. Every hybrid player, every edge, every safety linebacker tweener, every offensive weapon without a fixed home, will have a precedent to point to. Suddenly, positional flexibility won't just be a tool for coaches. It'll be leverage for players. And teams, notorious for squeezing value out of undefined roles, will have to start paying accordingly. Now, let's talk about Jerry Jones. Because you know he's not taking this lying down. Jerry is more than just an owner. He's a kingmaker, a showman, a man who treats the Dallas Cowboys like both a football team and a personal empire. For decades, his word has been law inside that building. He decides contracts. He decides branding. He decides who wears the star, and he makes sure you know it. So when Micah Parsons, his crown jewel, the player who sells jerseys, fills AT&T Stadium, and terrifies NFC East rivals, takes him to task, it's not just about money. It's about control. Jerry has already tried to frame it his way. He's whispered to reporters about historic offers, about the Cowboys' willingness to make Parsons one of the highest-paid defensive players in history. He wants the narrative to be simple: Jerry takes care of his stars, and Parsons is being greedy. But Parsons isn't buying it. And here's the thing: neither are the fans. Because Cowboys fans, for all their loyalty, know the truth. They've watched Parsons dominate week after week. They've watched him line up all over the field, doing the job of 3 men at once. They've watched him drag the defense into relevance through sheer willpower. And they know he isn't asking for charity. He's asking for respect. And respect, in the NFL, is measured in dollars. The media circus is already in full swing. Analysts are split down the middle. Some are calling Parsons brave, a pioneer fighting for hybrid players everywhere. Others are calling him reckless, accusing him of biting the hand that feeds, warning him that suing your boss, especially when your boss is Jerry Jones, rarely ends well. And the locker room? Tense doesn't even begin to describe it. Some teammates quietly back Parsons. They know the grind. They know the toll it takes to be that versatile, that relentless, that indispensable. To them, Parsons standing up for himself is standing up for everyone. If he wins, it trickles down. It sets a precedent that could pad their own pockets someday. But others worry. They see the distraction. They see the headlines overshadowing training camp, the questions eating up press conferences. They worry this isn't just a fight about contracts, it's a fight that could fracture the Cowboys' season before it even starts. And you can bet opponents are watching with glee. A fractured Cowboys locker room? That's blood in the water. But let's zoom out because this fight is bigger than Dallas. The NFL has always thrived on roles. Quarterbacks throw. Running backs run. Linebackers tackle. But in the modern game, those lines are blurred. Players aren't fitting into boxes anymore, they're breaking them. Tight ends that play like receivers. Safeties that blitz like linebackers. Defensive linemen that drop into coverage. Micah Parsons isn't just part of this trend. He's the trend. He embodies the evolution of football itself. And his lawsuit is forcing the NFL to reckon with a truth it's been dodging. If you want versatility, you have to pay for it. That's why this case matters. If Parsons wins, every hybrid star will point to his victory. If he loses, teams will tighten the screws, emboldened to keep squeezing players into the cheapest classifications possible. This isn't just Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones. It's players versus the system. Now let's talk legacy. Because make no mistake, that's what Parsons is really fighting for. Money matters. Respect matters. But this is also about how he'll be remembered. Micah Parsons doesn't want to be remembered as just a defensive end. He wants the title that matches his dominance, linebacker. The position of legends, the heart of the defense, the role that comes with leadership and lore. Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, Dick Butkus, those aren't just names, they're immortals. And Parsons wants his name etched among them. Being called a defensive end? That cheapens it. That erases part of his story. That makes him just another pass rusher, when in reality, he's so much more. This lawsuit isn't just about checks. It's about chapters in the history books. So where does this end? Jerry Jones isn't the type to cave quietly. Parsons isn't the type to back down. Which means this is headed for a standoff. Arbitration panels poring over film. Lawyers parsing contract language. Headlines screaming about the $200 million war tearing the Cowboys apart. If Parsons wins, the Cowboys will have no choice but to pay him not just linebacker money, but superstar money, likely making him one of the highest-paid defenders in NFL history. Jerry will be humiliated, his control challenged, his empire showing cracks. If Parsons loses, the money drops, the leverage shrinks, and the narrative turns ugly. He'll be painted as greedy, as reckless, as a player who tried to strong-arm Jerry Jones and failed. And at that point, don't be shocked if trade rumors start swirling, because once respect is gone, there's no patching it up. Either way, the Cowboys are on a collision course with chaos. And yet, through all of this, one image sticks. Micah Parsons, standing tall in front of microphones, calm but unflinching, saying he won't be undervalued. That he won't let his identity be rewritten by accountants and executives. That he knows his worth, and he's willing to fight for it. It's bold. It's risky. It's messy. But it's also revolutionary. Because one way or another, this lawsuit is going to change something. Whether it's the Cowboys' payroll, the NFL's contract norms, or the balance of power between players and owners, history is being made. And the next time Micah Parsons runs out of the tunnel, the question won't just be how many sacks he'll rack up. It'll be whether he's a linebacker or a defensive end. Because in this battle, those three words aren't just semantics. They're worth $200 million. Jerry Jones has been in 1,000 battles. He's wrestled with agents, he's stared down superstar egos, he's maneuvered through scandals and salary caps and Super Bowl droughts. But this fight? Micah Parsons dragging him into arbitration over his contract? This is the one he never wanted. Because Jerry Jones is used to winning these wars by sheer force of personality. He smooths egos with charm, he buys loyalty with cash, he flexes the star on the helmet like it's Excalibur. And for decades, that's been enough. But Micah Parsons isn't just another cowboy. He's not another piece on Jerry's chessboard. He's the most dynamic defender the league has seen in years, a hybrid weapon who terrifies quarterbacks and wrecks offensive coordinators' sleep cycles. And now, Micah has taken the fight out of Jerry's world, out of those smoky back rooms where deals get done, and into a courtroom where the rules are different. This isn't negotiation anymore. It's litigation. It's arbitration panels, legal filings, analysts reviewing every single play Micah has made since he stepped into the league. And in that sterile, legalistic environment, Jerry's charisma doesn't count for much. The only thing that matters is the tape. Here's how it works. The grievance will require arbitrators to decide, based on raw evidence, whether Parsons should be classified as a linebacker or a defensive end. That means thousands of snaps are about to be replayed like evidence in a murder trial. Snap 1, Parsons standing upright, 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, scanning the offense. That's linebacker work. Snap 2, Parsons with his hand in the dirt, lined up wide against a tackle, charging into the backfield. That's defensive end territory. Snap 3, Parsons dropping into coverage, shadowing a tight end on a seam route, breaking up the pass. That's linebacker versatility again. Each play is another data point, another argument, another tug-of-war in a case where millions of dollars hang in the balance. And let's be honest, this isn't just about $3 million here or there. This is about legacy. Because the difference between defensive end and linebacker isn't just salary, it's status. It's history books. It's how Micah Parsons will be remembered when his career is over. He doesn't want to be lumped in with the DeMarcus Wares and the Dwight Freeneys of the world, great players, sure, but narrowly defined. He wants to be in the Lawrence Taylor conversation, the Ray Lewis tier, the guys who were the heartbeats of defenses, not just specialists. And Jerry knows it, which is why this fight has become so personal. Let's not sugarcoat it, Jerry is furious. For Jerry, this isn't just about money, it's about power. He's used to being the final word on everything Cowboys related. Who starts, who sits, who gets paid, who gets cut, it all flows through him. So when Micah Parsons went outside that circle, filed a grievance, and essentially told the world, I don't care what Jerry Jones says, I'm taking this to court, Jerry saw more than a contract dispute. He saw defiance. And Jerry Jones doesn't do well with defiance. So now, the Cowboys are caught in a standoff. Micah Parsons, the beating heart of their defense, has drawn a line in the sand. Jerry Jones, the man who built the empire, has planted his flag on the other side. And every Cowboy fan in America is forced to watch the Civil War unfold. The locker room is buzzing. Some players quietly whisper support for Parsons. They see his point. They know the grind of being asked to do everything on the field while being paid like you're only doing one job. They see Micah dropping back like a safety one play, blitzing like an end the next, chasing down screens like a linebacker in space. They know the tape will back him up because they've seen it firsthand. Others are nervous. They don't like the distraction. They don't like the idea of their season being swallowed up by legal drama. They worry about Jerry's wrath, about what it means to cross the man who signs the checks. And then there are those who are simply afraid of the fallout. Because here's the truth. If Parsons wins, the floodgates open. Every hybrid player in the league, every positionless weapon, will start demanding reclassification, demanding more money, demanding recognition. Contracts will explode. Salary caps will shatter. Teams will scramble to adapt. This isn't just about Micah and Jerry. This is about the future of the NFL itself. Meanwhile, the media circus is relentless. Talk shows foam at the mouth over the $200 million contract war. Analysts break down game film like they're testifying before Congress. Old-school voices blast Parsons for daring to sue America's team. Younger voices call him a trailblazer, a player refusing to let ownership dictate his value. And the fans? Split right down the middle. Half of Cowboys Nation stands with Jerry, repeating his talking points about historic offers and team-first culture. To them, Parsons is being greedy, reckless, risking the team's chemistry for his own ego. The other half stand with Micah, furious that Jerry is nickel-and-diming the one player who might drag the Cowboys back to Super Bowl relevance. To them, this isn't greed, it's justice. It's a player demanding respect from an owner who's built an empire on the backs of players who never got theirs. The Civil War isn't just inside the Cowboys building. It's inside every living room, every bar, every debate across Texas and beyond. And through it all, Micah Parsons himself? Focused. Unapologetic. When he does speak, his words are measured, but they cut deep. I'm a linebacker. I've been recognized as one my whole career. That's the truth, and the tape doesn't lie. I deserve to be compensated for what I am, not what they want to label me as. There's no anger in his voice, no theatrics. Just certainty. And that certainty terrifies Jerry more than any sack ever could. Because Micah Parsons isn't bluffing. He's not threatening to sit out, he's not playing games. He's taking the fight where Jerry can't charm his way out. Into arbitration, where truth is frozen on tape and intent doesn't matter. Here's what makes it so riveting. Both men have everything to lose. For Micah, losing means being locked into the lower pay scale, his identity as a linebacker stripped away by a technicality, his leverage diminished when the time comes to negotiate his long-term extension. It means critics crowing that he overplayed his hand, that he let ego drive him into a corner. For Jerry, losing means something even scarier, losing control. If Parsons wins, every hybrid player in the league will feel emboldened to challenge their classifications. Owners will lose the ability to box players into cheaper categories. Contracts will balloon, budgets will buckle, and Jerry's iron grip on his empire will show cracks. Neither man wants to blink. Neither man wants to back down. And that means this is going the distance. So picture it. A sterile arbitration room, lawyers in suits, arbitrators flipping through play charts. A projector screen flickering with footage of Micah Parsons in motion. Exhibit A. Micah dropping into coverage, sprinting stride for stride with a running back on a wheel route. The arbitrator scribbles, linebacker. Exhibit B. Micah lined up wide, bull rushing a left tackle, crushing the quarterback for a sack. Scribble, defensive end. Exhibit C. Micah calling signals, shifting teammates before the snap, then blitzing through the A-gap to stuff a run. Scribble, linebacker. It's surreal. A player's career, his worth, his legacy, all distilled into frozen frames of film. Each clip another piece of evidence in a trial that could rewrite the economics of the NFL. And somewhere, Jerry Jones is watching, grinding his teeth, realizing that, for once, he's not the one calling the plays. Here's the thing. No matter the outcome, the NFL will never be the same. If Micah wins, the era of positional ambiguity becomes an era of player empowerment. Hybrid players will cash in, forcing teams to value versatility not just in schemes but in salaries. Owners will lose their favorite trick, hiding stars under cheaper classifications, and the balance of power will tilt, however slightly, toward the players. If Micah loses, owners will tighten their grip. They'll point to his case as precedent, a warning shot to any player thinking of challenging the system. Hybrid stars will be praised in headlines but paid like specialists. And the message will be clear. No matter how valuable you are, the system decides your worth. Either way, Micah Parsons has forced the NFL to confront the truth it's been avoiding. Football has evolved. The old categories don't fit anymore. And trying to force players into those boxes isn't just unfair, it's explosive. For now, Dallas lives in limbo. A locker room divided. A fan base at war. An owner furious. A superstar defiant. And somewhere, beneath all the chaos, one truth hangs heavy. This isn't just about dollars. It's about dignity. It's about identity. It's about who controls the narrative, players who make the plays, or owners who write the checks. Micah Parsons has chosen his side. Jerry Jones has chosen his. And the rest of us? We're watching a $200 million war that might just change the NFL forever. Imagine this. The arbitrators rule against Micah Parsons. The tape is dissected, the spreadsheets are tallied, and the verdict comes down. Defensive end. 3 words that strip millions from his future earnings and, worse, steal the identity he's fought to claim. The room is silent. Jerry Jones is smirking, satisfied, as if the star on the helmet just shone a little brighter because order has been restored. But across the table, Micah Parsons isn't broken. He isn't slumping in defeat. He's sitting upright, jaw clenched, eyes locked forward. And in that silence, everyone in the room feels it. The war isn't over. It's just shifted battlegrounds. Because if the Cowboys won the arbitration, they may have just lost their superstar. Word leaks within hours. Parsons is furious. The grievance wasn't just about $3 million, it was about respect, about legacy. And to him, the Cowboys just told the world he's worth less than he knows he is. Teammates hear whispers of the phrase that turns locker rooms cold, trade request. And suddenly, Cowboys Nation is in freefall. Sports talk shows can barely contain themselves. One side screams that Parsons is ungrateful, that he should be happy with historic money and stop making demands. The other side insists Jerry Jones just pushed the franchise's best defensive player in decades out the door. Hashtags trend. Fans pick sides. Jerseys are burned. Jerseys are defended like holy relics. Inside the Cowboys building, panic sets in. Coaches who've built their entire scheme around Micah's chaos engine play style wonder how they can survive without him. Players wonder aloud if the star really means loyalty, or if it just means Jerry's way or the highway. And Jerry? He's defiant. He's Jerry Jones. He's beaten legends and lawyers before, and he'll beat this too. But behind that trademark grin, he knows the truth. This isn't a rookie making noise. This is his crown jewel, his franchise cornerstone, looking him dead in the eye and saying, "I don't trust you anymore." If Parsons pushes it further, if he actually demands a trade, the Cowboys will detonate. Fans won't forgive Jerry if he lets Micah walk. But if Jerry caves now, he'll look weak, a billionaire bent to the will of a 24-year-old star. Either way, the power balance in Dallas, the empire Jerry has controlled for decades, shifts. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this was never just about linebacker versus defensive end, never just about salary numbers. Maybe this was about drawing a line in the sand. About Micah Parsons proving that even in Dallas, even under Jerry Jones, players can't be boxed in and defined against their will. So, ruling or no ruling, arbitration or no arbitration, one truth is clear: the Cowboys aren't out of danger. They're standing on a cliff, the ground cracking beneath their boots, and the next move will decide if they stumble into a lost season or fall headlong into a civil war.